Hi, you wonderful, wondering wonders. How's everybody out there in Oz? Well, we've got a few problems, haven't we, in Oz, which is concerning a few him-ha niggles. And with the cost of living rising as it is, people are really concerned where everything's leading us. And one thing I can say with what's happening is the train strikes. Now, the Premier says, oh, the Australian people shouldn't be held to ransom. But isn't that a bit ridiculous to say, since the Australian people are being left and held to ransom? I mean, all this small chit-chat is getting nowhere with meetings and addressing the problems that we have here in Oz, trying to get safety back into our rail system so our drivers and whoever else works in that system feel safe, not violated in any way or asked to do things that they shouldn't, let alone put people on trains every day knowing if there's safety issues that haven't been addressed, what could possibly go wrong. Where there's an action, you know, there's a consequence. So these people aren't asking much. So I don't understand why Anthony Albanese, he's our Joe, we voted you in Labor for you to keep the economy running. And the cost of living is going up, but people can't keep any cost of living up if they can't get to work. They can't rely on the rail system within Australia, knowing that they can get from A to B. They don't have to worry about strikes. They don't have to worry about anything. And everything's been resolved. Well, nothing's been resolved. Anthony Albanese, you're the Prime Minister. Address this matter like you did with the electricity. When you thought that people in Oz, there were going to be blackout and shortages, you stepped in. You intervened. Well, you can with this matter also, but you choose not to. At the moment, what you're doing is you're very good at handling all the affairs for Australia outside of Australia, but what about handling the affairs for Australia, in Australia, for Australians? And that is addressing these trains and the safety of them and the train strikes and meeting with the industries involved to resolve this problem. And the Premier needs to be a little bit more savvy on understanding, do you ride rail every day of your life? Do you rely on that? I bet you don't. I bet you have an electric car or you have a car. And it wouldn't be a second-hand run-me-down like a lot of Joes are relying on if they're lucky enough to get a car. If not, it's the rail system. They rely on the rail system, the bus system, the trams. They rely on everything. Normal Joes rely on that. So, Anthony Albanese, you were voted in. After how long Labor sat back like, you know, the underdog. Then everybody believed in Australia you were our Joe. Labor could lead us a new way. Well, show us the bloody new way by intervening in this big mess, because if you don't, people have got memories. They're sick and tired. They're mentally fatigued, let alone physically. They want to get back on their feet. Oz needs the rail system. They need that, and they need that security that when they step on a train, it's safe also. you know. So work with these industries. Step in, Anthony Albanese. You are our Joe. You step in like you did with the electricity when you thought Oz was going to have blackouts and there's going to be shortages. You stepped in. Well, step in on this matter. Because if you don't come time voting, people have got a long memory. People are tired, physically, mentally tired. They want that rail system up and running. They rely on it. Ordinary Joes rely on it. So, and they rely on you resolving the problems in Australia, for Australia, in Australia, let alone for Australia outside of Australia with other countries. Address what needs to be addressed in our own backyard. So do that, because if you don't, then that's going to cripple the nation. And the living cost is enough to bear now, and people can't bear the thought of not being able to get to work, rely on the rail system. If you care about Oz, do this, intervene for the ordinary Joe. People rely on you, Anthony Albanese, and you've got to work with those organisations and with the Premier by the looks of things, because he's got no idea, since he can just say that these organisations are keeping the economy, people at ransom. Well, no, I don't think so. I think things haven't been sat down, talked over the table properly, and you, Anthony Albanese, as our Joe, as our Prime Minister, you step in and clean this mess up before it gets way out of hand. And apart from everything else, well, you know, we can only hope that the problems that we face now here in Oz are addressed, because people will be watching, people will be sitting back. And you promised Oz a new way in life, a new dynamic way of being, thinking, living, and showing the whole world that we are independent, we are strong people. But you've got to make us strong. You know, Oz is the backbone, but we need that support for the backbone. And that is the rail system. That is most important, and that must be addressed. Because these strikes cannot go on. But anyway, that's my little him-ha niggle, Oz. Because it's most important we address these matters. Because I think the rail system and now is deteriorating. It's not broken down, it's past that, it is now deteriorating. And people's lives matter. Ordinary Joes need to be able to get to work. People need the rail system, and it's so important. So the Prime Minister needs to step in and clean this mess up before it gets way out of hand, because it already is way out of hand. But catastrophe, it wouldn't be good. People need the system to be up and running, and safely up and running. But anyway, Oz, that's all I've got to say. Hope you enjoy my tubes. Also, another thing is on my mind is addressing the matters. So, for women and their safety, coercive controls, laws need to be changed here in Oz. I do apologise if I'm not pronouncing it right. But they do need to be changed here in Oz. That's another thing the government needs to address. It's not hard to do, to fight and stand up for women's rights. Since Anthony Albanese, you know, his mum played a large part in his life, and she would have faced some tough, tivering times. And the areas and the suburbs, I grew up there also, so I know the way of life and how it could have been, and you know, what it would have been and what it was actually like too. But stand up for women's rights, Anthony Albanese. That's most important, not only for women that are working, but for the whole of women in Australia. It's got to be for every single woman that walks and talks in Oz, that she's got to feel safe. She's got those laws and they're changed. And they've got to change, not tomorrow, not today, now. They've got to be changed now, immediately. I think that's very important, Oz. I want to say hi to all my subscribers. Hi, you guys. Hope you're enjoying my tubes. I enjoy making them. What else can I say? If you're experiencing psychological, physical abuse, please reach out to 1-800-RESPECT or Lifeline, the Salvos. There are lots of networks and support systems out there that can help you, can support you. Reach out to the police. I say this every time. The police have got a lot more work to do in supporting people in need from domestic violence. Not only that, children and animals also. So they've got a lot of work to do. But I think if you turn to them, if you really need to in time of need, ring that number. Don't hesitate, you know, because too many women, too many people suffer in silence because you feel that you don't have a voice and then nobody's going to listen and believe you. Well, make that change. Make everything change, and we can do that with these laws that need to be changed for women, children, animals, everybody involved in coercive control, domestic violence, psychological abuse, disasters, all that matters. All that's rolled up in one. But look after yourself. I will say my 4 codes: respect, dignity, honour and integrity, and faith. That'll serve you well. Your mask, try and wear your mask where you can. A lot of people don't. It's been and gone. It's, you know, it's now vanishing a lot more now. I see a lot of people aren't wearing masks. But wear your mask, sanitize, you know, Vicks Defense, you know, is really good. Do the 1.5, you know, if you got a cold, be conscious, be aware that you've got that. Your boosters, vaccination, all that sort of thing, other variants. And just be clean and conscious and, you know, and be aware of things that are out there that we should be more aware of anyway. Why should it take a virus to make us aware that we should be aware of everything in life? But anyway, you guys, look, hope you enjoyed my tube. Until next time, look after yourself. And yeah, all these problems with the rail system has got to certainly be addressed. The Prime Minister has got to step in and step in quickly, because the Premier is not doing much and doesn't look like he can do much because he's so lost in, oh, Australia people are being held to ransom by these people. Oh my. Well, Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, you're our Joe, save the day. Anyway, take care, everybody. See you until next time. Look after yourself from Planet Australia.